Welcome to 5K Yarns podcast with BILLO. This is a podcast where the finish line is just the beginning of the story. Every Saturday morning, all around the world, people like you and me gather to walk, jog or run, or just cheer from the sidelines. The guests I have conversations with attend these parkruns. It's formed an important part of their weekly routine. Some attend with their dogs, with prams, with their mates, and even with their families. Some just like to do it by themselves. Some chase PBs, some chase community, and some just chase the post-run coffee. After all, that's what it's all about, right? This podcast will share their stories with you. Each episode I sit down with everyday parkrun heroes to hear what this little 5K means to them. Because behind every barcode, there's a yarn worth telling. Lace up, sit down, tune in, and let's go for a run together. Now let's get on with the podcast. In this episode of 5K Yarns podcast with BILLO, we sit down with not one, but two legends of parkrun community, Geoff and Janet REID. Between Geoff and Janet, they've both notched up an incredible 770 plus parkruns across multiple countries and hundreds of volunteer credits. Janet is currently the event director at Lochiel Parkrun in South Australia, affectionately known as the Mothership, as well as being a regional ambassador for South Australia, playing a pivotal role in supporting parkrun events throughout the region. This includes parkrun event which I launched as the founding event director at Meningie, which is located the gateway to the beautiful Coorong region of southeast South Australia. With over 387 volunteer efforts to her name and 11 years of parkrunning, Janet's dedication to the community and connection shines through. Geoff brings his own impressive parkrun story with 405 parkruns completed and a strong passion for consistency, tourism and volunteerism. His running journey spans over 2,025 kilometres and he's achieved a personal bests and milestones that speak to his spirit and perseverance. Together, Geoff and Janet share insights into what keeps them lacing up every Saturday morning, their love for Lochiel Parkrun, their travels tales, and how parkrun has become so much more than just a run. It's a way of life. Lace up, sit back, and get ready for a yarn filled with dedication, humour, heart, and true parkrun passion. I'm delighted to welcome Geoff, athlete number A636590, and Janet, athlete number 615803, to the podcast. Greetings to you both.
Hi, Billo. Thanks for having us on.
Good to hear you, Billo.
You're most welcome. So the last time we caught up was obviously in Singapore last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the thing that I remember about that, and I think it'll actually will go down as a memory of all times in my parkrun journey, was the absolute drenching we got at Bishan on the Friday morning. But it was really
drenched. My goodness.
Have you ever had an experience like that before?
Nope, not since, that's for sure.
You throw in the humidity just to round it off.
Oh, that was pretty uncomfortable before and after, wasn't it? But it was nice during that drenching. So, but it was a really great morning, and then we followed up the following day on the Saturday with East Coast,
yes.
I think it was from memory.
Yes, that's right.
So, and that was also quite a humid morning. So I think if you go to Singapore, I think it's humid all year round.
But wasn't it just a great experience though? And the volunteers at both events were fabulous. They really were.
They were, and lots of expats too, which I guess is not that uncommon. I think from memory, the event director at Bishan was a Canadian.
That's right, yes.
And the one at East Coast was from the UK.
Yeah.
So look, I've got plans to go back over there next year because their extra day is actually on a Sunday. So hope to do a Saturday and a Sunday, and quite cheap too. Looking at each other, thinking, we might do the same.
Time to get your planner out.
It is, but it's such a beautiful place, Singapore. I really loved it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So what made you both discover parkrun and what made you actually get to parkrun for the first time?
Well, in my case, I was doing a fitness challenge, and one of the things we had to do was get involved in some sort of run. And this was back in South Africa, and at that stage, Route 44 park run. Halfway between Somerset West and Stellenbosch had recently launched. So I took myself off there, and probably my first 5 or 6 times I went there, I didn't scan my barcode.
So you've one of these people that thought, oh yeah, look, it'll be right. And I mean, at the end of the day, your numbers, don't lie. You've obviously well and truly made up for it since then.
Yeah,
And
didn't
what about yourself,
I
Geoff? Were
didn't
you just a
scan
handbag
didn't
or?
scan my barcode because I thought I was too slow and I was embarrassed.
Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
an interesting one because parkrun community, as you know, we actually welcome all levels of fitness as well as all age groups. And
Mm.
I've got to say, I've actually officially done your parkrun over there in South Australia, Lochiel, twice officially, and I think I might have even done it twice as a part of the longest run, which you've got. Is that included in the longest
Yes,
run
it
again
is.
this year?
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. So have you got is it the two or three streams? Like I think you've got one that covers the hills, one that covers the
Beaches.
northern area and the
Yep.
beaches, and then you've got the southern area. Is that
Yep,
right?
we're doing the same thing again this year. Yep.
Excellent. No, that's fantastic. So yeah, I'm behind the local one here,
Cool.
covering 7 park runs within the northeast Thai country area
Yep,
from
yeah.
where I live. So very
Yeah,
enjoyable.
that's a good.
So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I didn't, I say I was embarrassed to scan my barcode, and it's something I'm really mindful of when I do first timers welcome or I'm just chatting to people in general to remind them that you don't have to be embarrassed about your time. You just go, have fun, and your time is your time. That's what makes it so special. And you can't come last
Mm,
because of your tail walkers. So, but if I'd known that, if somebody had told me that right back in the beginning, because we didn't have a first timers welcome back in those.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
somebody had told me that, I think my real deep passion for parkrun would have started a bit sooner than it actually did.
Yeah, okay. But it's interesting how it's evolved too, and I think that's where, Parkrun Global,
Mm.
introducing the initiatives of has as having such things as the separate, first timers welcome, but also introducing Park Walker. I think that's a
Oh,
huge initiative. And
yeah,
look, it's sad to say that not all events embrace it. Um, I'm not sure how you can go in and sort of encourage it other than saying, hey, if you want more people getting involved from a participation perspective, but also potentially volunteers, which is
yeah,
very important because they don't run themselves.
yeah.
Then perhaps that's one way of doing it. And what about yourself, Geoff? How did you get started? Were you the handbag, or you
Yeah.
just decided this
Well,
looks like a good
I
thing and
hadn't
go
a
along?
clue. I
Or?
had no idea what parkrun was all about. And, one day Janet said to me, listen, I'm going to go to this parkrun in Stellenbosch. I said, well, that's fine. And off she went, and I paid no more attention. Um, Also, often I was away working. I came back on a Saturday morning. So
At 2, 3 o'clock in the
yeah, by the
morning.
time I landed was probably too early or too late, and I hadn't. And then Janet said, "Oh, and Bruce Fordyce, he's involved in it as well." I
Mm,
said, "But he does Comrades Marathon. What's this 5 kilometer story?" So it took a while to go along. So when I did join Janet, it's a lovely park run there where you go up a bit of a hill through the pine trees, through the vineyards, and it's just a wonderful experience. I suddenly thought, gee, I've been missing out on something. And from that day on was when parkrun kicked in, and we just started going together, and it just became a Saturday ritual whenever I was available. And I missed out quite a few, I say, because I was always away Saturday morning. But
mm.
I did what I could, and by then I was just so excited about it. And then we did quite a few volunteers there. I started like marshalling, helping them out. And that's where we started. And then that led eventually to our move over to Australia.
And you haven't looked back since
Nope.
because
Just got
you've
better and better, got better and better.
got a fantastic community there in Lochiel, and your family's involved in parkrun as well,
Yeah.
participating from time to time, and your grandchildren as well. I
Yes.
understand.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that great? isn't that great when you can introduce, not only the next generation below you, but your grandchildren
Yeah,
as well. It's
yeah.
And of
fantastic.
course, we do kids in charge. So we got all the youngsters that put their names up and come and have their day. And I think that's very encouraging for them as well.
And look, it's teaching them skills, which
Mm.
is, very important because in an age of technology, you would think that we would be, or particularly that generation would be more switched on, but they're probably more disconnected than what they ever were before, really,
True. Yeah.
which is, which is sad, really. Now, you touched on two things. Your work that you did, you're a pilot, is that right,
Yeah, I
Jeff?
was for a corporate company in South Africa and
Yep.
based overseas as well. So
Yep. So do you miss flying now that you've retired?
I do. I miss the flying a lot, but I don't miss all the admin that goes with it.
Yeah, I bet. And I'm no doubt things would have changed a little bit and obviously evolves in that space as well.
Yeah,
The other person you mentioned was Bruce Fordyce. Now, he was involved in leading the setup of parkrun in South Africa,
Yeah.
to my understanding.
Yes, yes.
Reason I know that is I've just recently read Paul Sinton Hewitt's book because he's also actually
Zimbabwe.
he's
Zimbabwe.
yeah, he's got a South African, but he's I think he didn't have a birth certificate as such because at the time he was I think its country's now Zimbabwe, but at the time was it
Rhodesia.
Botswana? No,
No, Rhodesia.
Rhodesia.
Yeah.
That's it. So have you read
Yes,
PSH's book
yes.
or yeah? So it was actually good to be able to get that insight about Bruce Fordyce and
Yeah.
absolutely amazing athlete in respect.
Right.
How many times did he win that marathon? It was like some crazy number,
And
seven
when you
times or something. Wasn't it?
consider how we approached long distance running back in those days, I mean, it was just literally pull on your shoes and go. And I mean, we used to sit glued to the TV watching him year after year after year.
but that's what I also find fascinating. Somebody like that does all these marathons, yet he was so passionate about parkrun 5 kilometers. So, all that influences you to say, well, why don't we give it a go? We're not athletic, but let's give it a go. And then the feeling get the exercise, the good feeling of everybody around you. It's a wonderful experience and it's spread worldwide.
No, that's right. I think 2,200 events or something active now worldwide. So it's definitely growing, and I know they keep launching right across Australia, which is fantastic. It makes it incredibly hard for those people like myself who want to try and become statesmen, but we'll get there eventually. Now, Janet, obviously with your role as ambassador, you're privy to a lot of things that the average parkrunner doesn't see. I'm not going to go into any of the detail, but it's really pertinent to the next question, I guess. Is there one thing that you would add, change, or remove from parkrun experience as it currently sits, if you had the opportunity to do so?
I thought long and hard about that one, and I had a chat with Geoff about it as well. And I don't know that there is anything as such at the moment. I'd like to see some more changes in volunteering and how we can get people involved in volunteering, and to make people realize that whether you're out on the course participating or volunteering, you're still participating in parkrun. And it's just so important that you cannot underestimate the value of volunteering at parkrun. And I really would like to see more made of that and getting more people involved in the volunteering side of things. And I know it's said over and over, but if everybody just put their hand up once or twice, it would make life so much easier for the run director. And I'm very proud of the volunteering ethos that we have at Lochiel. We've got a really good community there, but it hasn't come without work. We
Yeah, a lot of hard work behind the
people,
scenes.
and we do a lot of shadowing as well, and let people come along and see how we do it, and still give them a volunteer credit for trying it as well. But that would probably be the one thing that I would like to see. And Jeff's got his tuppence he wants to throw in. You want the shirt?
Yeah, I know. If I had to
Hang on. Let's get out the scroll, the big long list.
If I had to add something, I would have the 350 milestone shirt for volunteers and park runners. I would add that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that because, I mean, look, we've all got different thoughts about it. It's a long jump from 1 to 250 and then even longer from
Yeah.
250 to 500 and
And then
10 years between 500 and
1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think, maybe look, it's open to debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have it every 50? Do you have it every
I
100?
think
I mean,
if you had it too frequently, it loses its value. I mean, I'm with Nicola Forward from the With Me Now podcast.
Yep.
She's pro having a 750 milestone,
I agree.
and that one
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
is that holds weight because there is that 500 gap between those two shirts. So it would be nice to see something like that. But in terms of the actual running of parkrun, I think, there are some changes afoot. And I think with Russ Jeffries going, we'll probably see, new broom sweep clean, and we'll see how that goes. So that'll be quite exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of that.
But also, you must remember, I'm not that young, so I don't want too far away. Bring them closer.
Well, there you go. That'll be the one that I'd love to throw in the mix. Let's introduce a Wednesday park run.
Oh, dear.
There you go. So obviously you've got lots of, I guess, experiences and memories and so forth. What would you say is one of your proudest moments or something that is a really standout when it comes to your parkrun experience within your life?
I think you'll gather with me, everything goes back to volunteering all the time. And for me, it's probably becoming when Lochiel launched, we went to the inaugural. We had been to Torrance a couple of times when we emigrated and when we'd come up on holidays. And then we saw that Lochiel was launching, and we didn't do soft launches back in those days. There were 9 parkruns in South Australia at the time. Oh my, how things have changed. And so we went along to the launch, and we've pretty much been there every Saturday since. So 2 months after it launched, I was run director for the first time, and then went on, as you say, to become event director. I'm now co-event director with the lovely Janine, and then became an event ambassador. And those are probably things that mean the most to me. They're my stand-up moments because I love, in my capacity as an event ambassador, supporting teams and events. So I've got, I think, 5 or 6 parkruns that I support at the moment, and just watching those teams grow and owning their own parkrun is just so good. It's so it's inspiring. It adds value to my role as well, and I'm lucky. My events are pretty much, they take care of themselves, so I'm lucky in that respect. But I do enjoy my role as an ambassador very much. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, and I guess a lot of people that, attend parkrun, they don't really know what's involved behind the scenes, with the amount of extra work that the event teams do, and in particular the event directors, and then it's the next level up to a regional ambassador like yourself, and just to make sure that, it's all runs in harmony, it plays an important part. So, Janet, thank you so much for actually playing an important role in that, and particularly in the community in South Australia. I mean, I think that's where I started my parkrun journey, as you know, out at Murray Bridge.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love getting back there and catching up with people that, I can affectionately now say that they're friends.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Geoff? What about something passionate you're about?
Again,
or
we're very similar because the rewarding...
You're not an event ambassador.
The rewarding side of just being a volunteer is awesome. But, I've also got to say, I'm very proud of Janet, and all that she's done to build Lochiel. I'm just always in the background, and I'm not going to tread on her feet. I don't want to be run director. I just happy to do my thing on the sideline and let Janet run with her passion as the run director and all the admin that she looks after. And she gets great stimulation out of it. And I'm just so pleased to tag along and do my bit on the sideline. But volunteering is just such a rewarding experience. And a lot of people,
Yeah.
I don't think they don't realize the fun that you get there when you do that until they do it. And then you hear a different side from them. It's wonderful.
I've got to say, both times that I've attended Lochiel, the briefings and the overall feel has been very welcoming, very supportive, very happy place. So, it's a credit to both you, but also your larger community there within the parkrun community within the Lochiel area. So, um, well done in that
Thanks,
space. It's
Bill.
really
But we
good.
can't go talk too much about Lochiel. Got to give the others some accolades too.
Oh, look, of course, but I think it's one of those things, and it's fair to say that events like Lochiel, by what you do and the energy that you bring to the event, is a standout. Which for me, it sits in the brain. It's like, yeah, I definitely have no hesitation going back there again
Wonderful.
because of the feel and the vibe that you have, as opposed to. We've all been to events where you think, I'm not too sure about that. I'm not sure whether I'll go back there again. And to me, it's more about the people than running your 5Ks, which sounds pretty odd considering, as we know, it was all started right way back in 2004 as a time trial.
Yeah.
So, you're always going to get people there that will want to run and, go as quick as they can and, compete. And, and that's okay. I mean, that's what it's about at the end of the day.
True. Yeah.
Now, is there a dream location that currently has a parkrun that you'd love to get to? We touched on Singapore, but obviously there's so many more countries. You got a big list, have you?
Yeah. Well, not a big list, but
For
our
me,
top ones.
for me, like most people, probably it's Bushy Park, where it all started. I'd love to go there.
Yep. Have you got that on your planner? You're looking at doing that at some stage?
Maybe next year.
It's a good
Maybe.
possibility, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, look, same. And I think I spoke to, because I had Pippa White last week as my guest last week.
Gorgeous Pippa.
And we had a bit of a chat around, her UK experience and different ones that she recommended. And I've actually got one that's, well, my youngest brother lives at Falkirk in Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, look, you definitely have to go to that. So, look, likewise, I think mine's probably going to be our winter time there, summertime, mid-27, I think I've penciled in the calendar. So, yeah, Bushy's definitely up there for sure.
I've done 2 park runs in the UK. I did Thetford, which is just it's so beautiful around there's an old abbey there. And then I did Brandon Park Country Park Run as well, which is just beautiful. I did that in sort of autumn, and you run through the forest. There's a beautiful lake in the middle, and the mist comes off it. And there's it's just the most gorgeous setting. Yeah, but I'd like to go to Japan. Japan's on my bucket list.
Yeah, look, I would agree with that as well. I've sort of been following a couple of people that have been over there, particularly Greenery Day and so forth.
Yes.
And yeah, definitely that's one on there as well for sure. As well as New Zealand. New Zealand has got quite a few I'd like to tick off as well.
Yeah.
But this isn't about me, it's about you guys. So.
But New Zealand is another one as well. I mean, basically, I would like to go to Lithuania. It's just a random one there. But, when you live in the UK, it's so easy to collect all those flags, isn't it? But when you live where we do, it's a costly exercise to tick them off. So, yeah.
Yeah, particularly if you, not that I'm that way inclined, but if you're an alphabet chaser.
Yeah.
There's people that I follow and, on social media that, 9th alphabets. It's crazy.
Yes.
They're traveling all around the world.
If you've got the means to do it and travel, that's really great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So why not? But yeah, we don't. We're retired now. So yeah, Australia it is.
And why would you want to leave Lochiel anyway? It's such an awesome park.
Exactly.
The mothership, as we'll call
it. The mothership, yeah.
Now, if there was a location that doesn't currently have a park run that you think would be great, you've travelled through or whatever, could be South Australia, could be anywhere. Any ideas there?
Yeah, Fiji.
Fiji?
Yeah, I'd love to see Fiji get off the ground.
Wasn't there an invitation that went out by Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And that did, because obviously you've privy to,
No, I'm not, but I gather
no,
that there
no?
has been some some interest. So yeah, maybe it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, fingers
yeah,
crossed, let's hope it does happen.
yeah,
Because there's definitely many countries and particularly places like that would certainly benefit from it,
definitely. Yeah,
particularly from the health benefits alone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What about yourself, Geoff?
Well, I think I'd like to get one going in Mauritius. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a holiday destination. It's got the beach. It's got everything there, but no parkrun.
But it's got a good population as well, so
It
they
has. They
could,
would have lots of
the
volunteers.
community could create one, and
Mm.
it could grow organically, and it could be sustained, but not just as a holiday destination. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because I mean it's interesting. You look at around the world, different park runs that actually are holiday destinations, and it's interesting because my home park run here in Yakandanda, that tends to attract a lot more tourists than locals, which is particularly depending on the time of the year. This time of year it's getting a bit colder,
yeah.
so you don't see as many people. But over summer period, you definitely get a lot of people. So yeah, look, it's and really, let's be honest. I don't know about you, but when I look at places to go, the very first thing I look at is a parkrun map and say, is there a parkrun there?
Yes.
And if there's not, tend to try and find somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, is there anything about parkrun that annoys you?
You better-
One thing that really gets my goat, and oh my goodness, people who talk during the briefing. Oh my goodness.
100%.
That just, it's like a couple of minutes, people. Keep quiet. You may know what the run director is saying, but there are people there who do not know what the run director is going to say. And as a courtesy and respect to the run director, just zip it for a couple of minutes. That's all we ask. That's all we ask. And that is probably the one thing that really, really gets me. Yeah.
So how do you handle that situation? What would be, so if you're a run director, how would you typically
Oh, I think
run, run with that?
everybody knows me. I stop talking. I just stand
and that's,
stare until everybody keeps quiet. Yeah. And then when they're
yeah,
quiet, I'll carry on again. Yeah. And if
and it's interesting because you'll generally get people within the crowd go, hey, be quiet, zip it, so you don't have to say anything, do you?
yeah, and then for my run directors, or not my run directors, when the run directors at Lochiel are up and people are talking, then I have no compunction to tell them to please keep quiet so that the director can be heard. Yeah.
I've noticed that a couple of ones I've been to in Melbourne, they'll have people walk around with signs, be
Like the
quiet.
golf. Yes.
I'm not sure whether they're that effective, to be honest with you, because you still get people up the back, and I think it becomes more of a challenge too. And it's actually interesting. The actual park run that I went to on the weekend, Frog Hollow, what an awesome name for a park
gorgeous,
run.
Yeah.
Frog Hollow Park Run. The actual run director, she actually made and I thought, it's so true. I think she said in part of a brief, she said, make sure you attend the brief because it may cover information that you've never heard before. Because not every single one of them is a mirror and the same as the next one.
Exactly.
It could be an announcement, could be something that Parkrun Global want to have something presented. So they're not all the same. And she actually made a comment because where they do their brief and where the start line is, you've got like 100 meters, walk to the start line. I think there's a couple like that in yours actually is a bit like that, isn't it? Because you start over near the water tank.
Yeah, we used to do the briefing at the golf club and then walk over to the start at the water tank, but we do the briefing there now. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so she just made a comment to say, well, parkrun's not going to start if the brief is in a different location. The brief's got to be started, got to be completed.
Yeah.
And if it starts 5 minutes later, then so be it. So I thought that was an interesting tack and an interesting way of being able to handle it. But yeah, look, I'm in agreement with you. It's nothing ruder than having someone stand up the back and they're chatting away and so forth. So for the benefit of any listener out there, if you do that, zip it, please, because, you're not showing respect and courtesy to, the run director. And if you think it's that easy to be a run director and you haven't been one before, I encourage you to go out there and give it a go because then you'll see what it feels like.
Especially two, 300, 400 people in front of you. And I don't think people that stand towards the back, I don't think they realize that voice has like a ripple effect. It works its way to the front so that the run director still hears this sort of rumbling in the background. So yeah, please, if I can appeal to everybody as well, for those 2 minutes for the run briefing, just keep quiet.
Yeah. And sometimes if the run director runs a little bit late, a minute or two over, don't complain.
Yeah.
Because it's all volunteers and everyone's doing their best. So don't criticize if it's a minute or two late. It's there to be enjoyed.
I don't know of anyone that would do that. Have you had anyone complain?
Yes. I'm not going to say any more.
It's crazy, isn't it? You know, what's an extra couple of minutes?
Yeah,
But anyway,
Anyway, that's
it's almost as though their life's going to stop.
Yes. Yeah.
so anyway, that
So, sorry, keep going, Jeff.
carry on.
Okay, so next question I'm going to throw at you, and you've already touched a bit on this. From a deeper level, what does parkrun mean to you?
Oh, I think for us, Billo, when we made the decision to emigrate, we knew that it was going to be difficult. We came over as retirees. And yes, we've got our children here, and our first grandchild was born 3 months after we arrived. But unlike everybody else, when they immigrate, they're either young, so they're making friends easily. They've got school pickups and drop-offs, so we're making friends at school, or we've got kids at uni, and so they make friends that way, or you yourself are at uni. But for us, we weren't working, so how do we make friends? How do we settle into this new country that we're calling home now? And you don't want to rely on your children either. You don't want to be the tag-along parents, and that was never our intention. So when we joined Parkrun, and more specifically Lochiel, we found that we were amongst a group of people who thought the same way as us, who had the same interests as us. And I can honestly say that we've got a really, really good social circle, and it, with the exception of 2 couples, it all stems from Parkrun. So for us, it's been the place where we found our tribe, where we found where we felt we belonged. And I truly do not think that the transition from South Africa, from Cape Town to Adelaide, would have been anywhere near as easy as it was had it not been for Parkrun. It gave us a reason to get up every Saturday. We had a commitment. And I remember the first time we went, we sort of stood in the background, and Tok will have a chuckle at this. You know, I was very quiet in the background. He can't believe that I was ever a quiet person. You're going to have to plug this in. Quick, stop. We're going to run out of battery power. He's just going to go and plug it in. I think what he's done, he's plugged the cable into the tumble dryer extension, which is plugged into the wall, not plugged into the power. So anyway, yes.
You haven't trained him well enough,
I
Janet.
tell you, he can fly airplanes, but anything else. But that is truly where we found our place, and made us feel super comfortable. Yeah.
But on a sort of a bit of a selfish side, Billo, you know, I would tend to say it's what it's done for me. It's kept me mobile. I get the socializing. It's a Saturday morning of fun, which is a big thing, and rounded off with parkrun coffee, where everyone sits and has a nice chat and different topics are discussed, and it's just so uplifting. So that's where my comeback would be for that question.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so, and I think it's hard for anyone when they're first starting off to obviously go along. And it's been a common theme and common thread with all the previous guests that I've had on board. They touch on in a major way the community of parkrun, and you know, their friendship circles and what it means. Like, I know myself, I personally look forward to Saturday every single week. You know, I wish there was 7 Saturdays, to be honest with you. But yeah, so it's really good in that respect that you look forward to catching up with friends, and you know, and I'm in agreement with you guys that you know you do make some pretty close knit friends and from that community, which is so important. So again, for anybody that may have stumbled across this podcast, go and check out Parkrun, because the name quite often does scare people. I remember my first experience with it is that I thought, well, yeah, I reckon I can run. I think I managed probably 500 meters and I felt like I was going to die. But
Mhm.
all people of all fitnesses are
Yeah,
welcome. You can walk, and you're never going to be last because of the tail walker.
exactly.
And as Janet has said as often to me, they must put their fears aside and just come along.
Mm.
Bring your barcode, attend first timers welcome,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
just enjoy the parkrun experience. And I think that's the way if they can do that, they'll be back.
Exactly.
Mm.
So let's move away from parkrun for a little bit. What other interests and what other passions do you have? Now, I believe you've got a little red truck. Is that right,
Little blue
Well,
truck.
Jeff?
if it's painted blue, that's it. Yes.
Oh, it's blue, is it? I thought it was red. Why? What I don't know why I thought it was red, but
You're
anyway,
listening to the Wiggles.
probably. Okay, tell me about your blue truck there, Jeff.
It's just a little bit of fun. I picked it up. It's been a project to get it all roadworthy and running. It's a 1957 Dodge truck, and every year I go with the grandson when you do Bay to Birdwood annually, and then we all have a nice party on the other side, and it's something to look forward to every year. And in between, Janet and myself might go off on a nice day to a vineyard somewhere and have a lunch and just take the truck for a run. So that's a little bit of sideline entertainment that we enjoy, if you can look at it like that. Yeah.
No, that's good. No, I have actually seen your photos, and I did recall that you actively participate in the Beta Birdwood. Now, when is that held? That's like
October.
September or something,
October. Yeah, the
October.
19th of
October.
October this year. Yes.
So there you go. So any park runners interested in going check out Lochiel, also get up there and go and stand on the side of the road and watch all the vehicles go past, because there's literally hundreds of them, isn't
Oh
there?
yeah, it's a magic day. It really, really is. Yeah.
And what about yourself, Janet? What else do you enjoy doing outside of parkrun,
Uh,
or is there nothing else?
grandchildren. We've got 4. They keep us very busy. 2 live in the hills, 2 live locally. So
And you were playing golf, but you've had to
I
stop
had to
for a
stop
while.
golf for a while, but that's all right. Yeah, I'll get back to it. Yeah. But yeah, the grandchildren take up a lot of time. I was working in aged care, but I stopped that in
Okay,
October last year. Yeah. Yeah, aged care.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Can I just
So,
back on one thing quickly, Billo, if I can, and
yeah,
that's the role of the park walker.
mm,
Um,
for sure.
what we do, and what I encourage all events to do, is to take your park walkers and ask them to be present at the first timers welcome, and introduce them by name, and let the first timers know that they're out there on the course. And if you're feeling unsettled or unsure, you're welcome to walk with them. Ask them questions while you're out there, because the park walker role, I think, is highly underrated. I really, really do. It's a gateway volunteer role. People can try
Mm,
that out. They don't need any technology. They can still go and do their 5Ks. They volunteer, but please, when you're doing it, chat to the other people. Don't sign up with a mate and just chat to them for the whole time. Talk to the other people
mm.
out there. And what we do is we work our way backwards and forwards through the walkers, so that our park walkers start off at the back of the slow runners, the slower
Yeah.
runners and the faster walkers, and then we work our way back and finish in the middle of the pack. But that park walker role cannot ever be underestimated. It's got so much value to it. It really, really has. So I would encourage
Mm.
everybody to give it a go and get to know your fellow park runners through that role. It's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, because I think it can be seen as a challenging role where um, people, particularly, I won't say just tourists, but they'll go to a different event and they'll jump in that role, and the role, probably in the full merit of what it's about, it's not embraced. They'll just walk off and they're by themselves.
Yeah.
It's where there's other people. So reinforcing what Janet has just said, absolutely. If you want to take on the park walker role, consider taking it on board from the scope and the perspective of attending that first timers briefing, and just being aware of anyone that's new, but also anyone that's even visiting as well, because you can have some really good conversations with tourists and so forth, and it just makes the experience much more pleasurable
It does.
for all
Yeah.
concerned.
I was when I took over Naruma Wetlands as one of my events, I volunteered as park walker that day, and I actually did 5.7 kilometers because I was going backwards and forwards, chatting to everybody,
Okay.
and I loved every minute of it. I love that role. I really, really do.
That's unusual for you.
What? To be chatting?
No comment. No comment. That look, in all honesty, though, well, that's not the only reason I invited you on board, Janet, because I knew you liked to have a bit of a chat. But your wealth of knowledge, your enthusiasm, and your passion for parkrun shines through. And I think anybody that knows you, not only just in South Australia, but as you know, the parkrun family certainly spreads globally through other podcasts such as Parkrun Adventurers and With Me Now, but also through the social media channels as well, where you do get to meet a lot of people and get to know a lot of people, and you know you're definitely known to not shy away from having a conversation with someone, Janet. But keep it up. Keep it up, because we absolutely need more people like you that actually almost bleed parkrun blood. That's important.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, we really just touched on, and I think the very last final question there is around, you're talking to a total stranger, or you're meeting somebody that you're trying to talk to them about parkrun. Now, a lot of people will look at it and go, and as I said, the name in itself is something that does scare people, because like I'm not a runner, there's no way I can do it. But once you get in a conversation, I wouldn't think you would find that challenging, surely, Janet.
Oh, it's a tough one. No. The hard part is getting me to stop once I get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as you say, it's stressing to people that just because it's called park run doesn't mean that you have to run. You can walk, there are so many ways to participate in parkrun. And I really think that once you've tried it, you won't go back, really. But it's to let people know that it's a place where nobody points fingers, where you're not going to be judged on your agility, your speed, your ability, your outfit, who you run with, what shoes you've got on. I mean, none of that matters. It's just about finding a place where you are comfortable, where you can get out, you can get some exercise. It's all about being healthy. That's really what it is. And getting out there and just getting to meet people. I look at some of the beautiful friendships that have come at Lochiel, and even as more so since we introduced the role of the park walker. We've always embraced walkers at Lochiel, but I would say that if we had 300 participants on a Saturday, at least 100 of those are dedicated walkers, and a lot of the older ones have made the most beautiful friendships and connections, and it's just so lovely to see. They only see each other on a Saturday, but they live for that Saturday and that hug and the post-park run coffee. And
well, it's the wonderful concept, and it costs nothing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's the best part, is the fact that it is free. And I think anyone that does do posts on social media in terms of their their parkrun journeys, thank the sponsors, because they're the ones that are actually financially supporting to make it free. I mean, what would, hypothetically speaking, what would parkrun become if they had to charge participants? It would die very quickly, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it would. It would fall away, and you'd just have a handful left. Yeah. Yeah. And then it would lose its uniqueness as well, because it would just be another paid event. So that's special.
Right. That's right. Which is kind of crazy, because people will pay hundreds of dollars to run 40-something Ks and get a piece of metal at the end of it, and that's fantastic. But hey, those people can also do parkrun as a part of their training process and enjoy the community aspects of it as well.
So inclusive. So, everyone is welcome. Yeah.
So is it safe for me to ask where you're heading on the weekend? Because hopefully you'll be back out there volunteering on the weekend, Janet, after your operation.
I'm hoping so. Yes, so I will be aboard the Mothership, Lochiel, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm handing out finish tokens, so no walk or run for me this Saturday.
But you are participating.
Yes, I'll be there.
You've got a very important role, because if you didn't fulfill that role, Jeffrey,
Yep.
then there would be absolutely no parkrun.
Feeling good.
Full stop. And if you go along to Lochiel, you good chance of seeing koalas as well, isn't there?
Yes. And it's been so.
Are they always there?
Pardon?
Are they always along the linear park there?
You won't see them every Saturday, unfortunately, but if you look around, you will see them, yes. And we've watched one little Joey go from Joey to just coming out onto the back to a teenager and now on their own. And we think this is the same one with the Joey again now. So it's lovely.
I think the most we've seen is 10 on a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the human variety, where you see families come along with their little ones in prams, and then they graduate on foot. They turn 4, and then they start collecting their own.
That's right.
Their own camp. So it's good to be able to see that as well.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring to the discussion around parkrun, or we pretty much covered everything?
This year the Mothership turns 10, so that's going to be lovely.
Wow.
Yeah. And
When's that, in October?
September. First Saturday of September, we'll have our big birthday party. Yep, that's going to be exciting. Yeah.
So Lochiel was one of, first 9, you said earlier on?
Yeah. Torrance.
So they were number 9, were they?
I can't remember if we were 9 or I think we were 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
And South Australia is now sitting at 55, is it?
52, and then we've got one junior parkrun. That's our little sister parkrun, Thornton Juniors. And that was a beautiful story as well, because when Christy, who was one of our run directors, heard that there was an opportunity to start a junior parkrun, she was in there. Boy, she sorted that one out. We supported her. And for the first couple of months, the Lochiel volunteers went over and helped them establish their volunteer group at Junior Parkrun. Now, Junior Parkrun is slightly different in terms of volunteers. They've all got to have their working with children clearance certificate. So it's slightly different. But within 6 months, they had such an incredible team of volunteers over there that we were all able to step away. And they're doing really well over there. And as I say, we affectionately call it our little sister Parkrun. And it's
so are they getting good turnouts with the kids?
They do, yes. Obviously, school sports and that play a big role in it, because for some of them, that Sunday morning lie-in is all their little bones need. But they get a good number. Not like Des Connor Jr. They had a phenomenal turnout not so long ago, but we get a good turnout there, and the kids just love it. So we volunteer there whenever we can as well.
Look, I'd love to see more junior events open up across Australia. I think there's definitely scope and room for it. What's the current position with that, Janet? Do you know? Because they've sort of put them on hold and they're evaluating it, to my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm not privy to juniors, but I do know that if you are interested in starting one, still express your interest to head office, and then they will communicate with you. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I've actually expressed interest to start one up in my local area. Because I just think it's an opportunity and a gap there where we've even identified a location that would be ideal. So as far as I'm aware, it ticks all the boxes.
It's only 2 kilometers for the youngsters as well, which brings them in nice and gently, and then it naturally feeds into the normal park run. It's great.
Yeah, so no, look, the juniors are definitely something I think's got a lot of scope there as well for growth in Australia. And because what have we got? We've got 2 in Queensland. There's none in New South Wales, which I find quite interesting. 2 in Victoria, 1 in South Australia. So there's still plenty of land mass and plenty of towns with reasonable populations for junior events. Is there any locations that you would would consider, or not that you're involved in it, Janet,
No,
but
it's probably
this is just really just a thought more than
I
anything,
think
like
because I've
South
got
Australia, for example.
Thorndon on our doorstep, so the grandchildren go
Yeah.
there as well. I think probably they would need one sort of more down south from where we are. But as I say, there's so much more involvement in getting a juniors up and running than your 5K, and I'm not really privy to that. And quite a bit has changed since Thorndon started. So. As I say, if you think there's one, you're keen to start one, and you've got your volunteers together, then speak to head office and they'll have a chat with you.
Absolutely.
And the same applies to any park run. You know, if you look at your email and your results and the email that comes out during the week, if you want to start a park run, the link is on there for you to do it. But if you want to start a park run, you need to make sure that you've got your core volunteers set up straight away, because launching without that is not even a consideration. So.
Yeah, no, that's the challenge, and I know that's the initial challenge I actually faced with Meningie,
Yeah.
is being such a small community, and it's great to see that Ange is still obviously actively involved as one of the co-EDs from myself, and they do have a core, support team there, and it's one of those locations that at the time. I was obviously married to Sally, her family, and her parents lived in Meningie. Hence the reason why, I started and I guess cut my teeth at Murray Bridge, at the original Murray Bridge park run. And I just thought, this park location here in Meningie, ideal spot for it. There's small communities, not much that goes on. Would be nice if, and I think the challenge, particularly with small communities, particularly during winter, is obviously winter sports, football, netball, that sort of thing. But I'm so glad that it's still running, and I was able to get over there July last year and attend the 250th event.
That's right. I saw that.
Yeah, so I was quite happy about that. So, yeah, I mean, as Jenna said, if you want to get involved with the park run, even just attend one if there's one close by. If not, reach out to park run through through the social media website, and go from there.
Yeah. The most successful park runs are those that grow organically from within the community. There's no doubt about that. I look at Whyalla Foreshore, which was one that I think that was the last one that I supported to launch, and they are just growing and growing. And anybody who's not sure what sort of thing to post on their Facebook page, have a look at Whyalla's Facebook page, and you can see how the community has grown over their number of events. They've just turned a year, and they've got an incredible community there. It's really lovely to see.
So they're getting good numbers at that event?
Yep. They're averaging, I mean, they've gone over 200 a couple of times, but around the 140, 150 mark, I think, is pretty good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good, because Whyalla has had a bit of a, I guess, colourful history with the association with the still process mill there, and obviously there's been a bit of negativity within the press recently with that.
Yeah, it's been great for the community having park run there, and it's so beautiful because you run along the foreshore and then you go out on the donut jetty. So you run up, you go round the donut and you come back in, and often the dolphins are swimming in the middle of the donut or close by. It's really, really beautiful. Absolutely love it there. Yeah, and a great welcome community.
And they had 138 the last Saturday there, so even now it's getting colder now.
And it was raining as well, so it was not a nice sunny day that day. No,
And being out there on the as you head out, you're sort of going into an open space, so you're not going to get a lot of protection from wind and things like that.
No, when it blows the blue.
I haven't actually done that one yet. I'm familiar with the area and where it is.
Yeah.
Because previous working life, I had to go to through the Eyre Peninsula and Whyalla quite frequently, and I know that I did sort of use that course before parkrun's existence there. It was a bit of a training area for running and walking and things like that. So all right, well, I'm happy to wrap this up. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for getting a hold of us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And this isn't the end of the story. We as we keep going from parkrun from Saturday to Saturday, who knows? We might have part 2 of this down the track, 12 months time, 2 years time, where you guys can come back and let everyone know what you've been doing.
Sounds good.
Wonderful, because if that's the case, it means your podcast is still going as well, which is grand.
Well, I'm hoping so, and I think it's one of those things that people like yourself who with your friendship circles within the parkrun community will say, "Hey, I don't know much about Janet, or don't know much about Geoff at all, because he's often in the shadows."
He doesn't get a
But look, there's a number of people that I have actually reached out to that are known, where I want to introduce their partners as a part of their team with this, because as you know, I know even with my partner Lila, she's got involved in parkrun as well because of me, and she's met many friends and got friends because of the parkrun experience. So it's in your situation, it's both of you. It's not just one; it's both of you that support each other.
Very much so. I mean, every Saturday Geoff does the setup for the team.
A team effort. Team effort.
You go and he does the setup and gets the speaker ready and everything. So yeah, it's just what we love. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Absolutely
And
pleasure
keep
talking to
parkrunning,
you.
BILLO.
Same with you, and hopefully we might even see you or see you at some stage over in South Australia. If not, let's aim for Singapore next year.
wonderful.
Indeed. Sounds like a plan. Right, cheers.
All good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
So there you go. That's a wrap on another edition with a guest. If you liked that episode and you're interested in looking at the back catalogue or being notified when more come out, please subscribe and like, because that's your way of being able to get notifications. So until the next podcast, thanks for your time. The views, thoughts and opinions expressed on the 5K Yarns podcast with BILLO belong solely to the host and my guests, and do not reflect the views of any affiliated organisations mentioned, sponsors or partners. The content shared on this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners' discretion is advised, especially as the topic may include some strong language and sensitive material.